is it just a fantasy? 'Cause the unknown's pulling me. We could leave this place, freedom ours to chase. What if I escape with you? 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 Been a long time coming, a long time gone. Yeah, I'm leaving this town with my gun still drawn. Got an old Camaro with the backseats pumped. I don't need no money 'cause I got someone. When you're high like this, you can baby roll, roll, you can lay it with gold. When you're high like this, take it to the west coast, put me in your time zone. I could die like this, keep me in the snow with my eyes fucking loaded. When you're got an old jean jacket, used to be my dad's. Make me feel like Brando in the one-eyed jacks. And I call you up off the highway's edge. You say that you'll be waiting on the front porch steps. When you're high like this, you can baby roll, roll, you can lay it with gold. When you're high like this, take it to the west coast, put me in your time zone. I could die like this, keep me in the snow with my eyes fucking loaded. When you're high like this, you can baby roll, roll, you can lay it
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? All right, let's get it started. Mercury, there. Try to pull you in.
Man.
All right,
you
cool.
guys, can everybody hear me?
Let's hide this a little bit. I'm actually going to change this to this one. The classic background music. All right, sick. We're good, man. How you doing, Mercury?
I'm doing well, man. GM to everybody in the chat. I see Tommy in there. That's an OG.
We were just talking about before we got the stream started how overwhelming this all is at the moment. Keeping up with crypto, keeping up with on-chain, keeping up with airdrops, farming, Solana, just everything is madness right now. And I think I just saw Hasaka tweet, there's God candles everywhere. I can't even keep up. My watch list has so many coins that are up 10% right now. It's madness.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy when the people who have done incredibly well previous cycles are just now like, maybe I should start hiring some interns or, form some DAOs or something. There's too much opportunity everywhere.
Hasaka said that. I think CBS said that as well, right?
Yeah, I think Cantering Clark also said that, or Flow Horse, whatever his name is now.
Yeah. I still think of him as Ryan.
These are pretty prominent. Yeah, these are pretty prominent traders who have done incredibly well in previous cycles, and are like, I don't have enough eyes for how much opportunity there is out there in this market.
Yeah,
I think that's a testament.
The community aspect of crypto is so underrated, man. That's like, I don't know about you, but my performance only began like pretty much when I started on CT, right? Like that's when the doors opened for myself. It's like when I joined CT, then I was like, okay, well, you spend a lot of time like filtering bad noise and collecting like the right people to follow. But like once you're there, like I think that's when the journey begins in crypto.
Yeah, 100%. Community is definitely probably the most underrated aspect. I hate when people say, oh, crypto Twitter is noise. I hate it. I don't know what feed everybody's, what their feeds look like, but you get to curate your own feed. And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't executed on all of it, but every single thing that has ran, crazy amounts or been the hottest thing of the week or of that month or whatever, my feed has always been first. My feed has always been on top of the game, talking about that, whatever that thing is. And then the, human nature, the psychology behind it is, oh, well, my entire feed is talking about it, so it must be too late. Right. And then it's like, it just ends up going, right? Like Pepe is a great example. It's probably my biggest fumble of the entire year so far, which is like, all I had to do was throw $1,000 into Pepe. When my feed started talking about it, it went up, 50, 100x after that. So, and that continues to be the case.
That's like Bonk right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bonk is the exact same way. My entire feed was early to Bonk. Granted, did I execute off of it? No. Why? Skill issue. It's like there's no answer I can give you that
mid-curve issue, dude.
Right? Yeah, no, it's just skill issue. But my feed was first to it, man. My feed is on top of it. Crypto Twitter is alpha. You just have to curate it in such a way to be alpha. So
yeah. I see Jackson in the chat. He was early to cock, which is a legitimate meme coin on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the newest one. What's the other one? Dog with hat or something?
Yeah, hilarious. I just saw that I saw that 2 days ago, and it's already up like life-changing amounts of money, isn't it?
Yeah. No, there's a lot of parallels between what Bonk just did and what Pepe did this summer.
Yeah,
and I think that's been like the narrative that I'm going to be focused on probably in the next like couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, is Solana ecosystem. Just because I talked about it at the time when I saw things like hamster races, blowing up, or like marble drops, or what the other one was like the crypto bullet, like the roulette, the Telegram bots, all that stuff went crazy. That was all after Pepe. So Pepe did its like crazy run. It went to $1 billion, market cap faster than any coin, any other, especially a meme coin, ever has prior to that. And that kind of left like a imprint in people's minds, and they remembered, oh, like Pepe had that kind of potential. So then it created that casino. It set up the environment for that kind of a casino for the next month or two. And 2 months later, after Pepe runs to $1 billion, we start getting hamster races and, Telegram bots and snipers and whatever, do 20x's, 50x's, and then marble drops and crypto bullets, Russian roulette in your Telegram chat. And it's like, that was all started, or at least my theory is.
You mentioned that one?
Huh?
Hamster racing?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, that all started from Pepe. So I don't know what Bonk does from here. I know Ansem is on Twitter right now saying it goes to, it flips Doge
do you think
or whatever.
It stopped?
If you're gonna ask me my total honest answer, I thought that Coinbase listing would be the catalyst that makes it stop. So I wasn't talking about the exact price, but I thought Coinbase listing day, I thought that would be the top. Now I said that, and then it doubled from there. So I wasn't like, it's not like I'm trying to time it, but to me, the most logical thing is that it stops here. It just seems to be like the recurring theme is, this stuff goes crazy and then people can't comprehend how big it can possibly go, right? I always pertain back to like, have I ever talked with you about the best place to sit on an airplane? Ever told you about that?
No.
So people always ask me, what's the best way to short Bonk, or what's the best way to short these altcoins that go in these crazy rallies, right? How do I be like crypto? And I'm like, well, a long time ago, these scientists did a study on what's the best place to sit on an airplane during an airplane crash. And they found that the best place was at home, sitting on your couch, not anywhere near the airplane. And so if you're going to look to short, just don't short. It doesn't make any sense to short. But as far as like catalysts go and listing, I would imagine that it tops out here. And it seems to just be like a recurring theme, a cycle. Everything in markets is cyclical, but it seems to be like whatever the newest, hottest thing is, people can't comprehend how high it goes on the way up. And then after it, has run its course, people over kind of estimate how high it may go from thereafter. So it's like, we just watched this meme coin go from, I don't know, $10 million market cap to 2 billion in the span of 2 months or something crazy.
Yeah.
And now people are like, oh, so now it's going to go and flip Doge. Now it's going to be 13 billion. Now it's going to be, it's like, dude, I mean, why weren't you saying this, 3 days ago when it was only $500 million market cap? How come this just now crossed your mind? So that tends to be the theme. So I would think that it probably tops out here, but I don't think that means that Solana ecosystem is even close to done.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Pepe, it's the start of the Solana like on-chain summer or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it too. So I think that community, we talk about community. My biggest goal right now is to get into a community of people who are really good at navigating Solana ecosystem, who are in the trenches and know their stuff when it comes to Solana. I want to get in with those people. I want to pick their brains and see what they are interested in and what meme coins they want to buy heading into the next couple of months or so, because I feel as though that's going to be the most opportunistic kind of sector of this market. And I don't know what happens to the rest of the market, up, down, whatever. I'm just looking at my BTC chart right now. It's still uptrending, but that means actually kind of consolidating, but whatever, right? I would think that even if the market is amazing and just as euphoric as what we got in the past 2 months, I would think Solana ecosystem still manages to kind of outperform that.
Yeah, no, that's well said. We have a lot of good people in the clinic that are hustling hard on chain, and just outperforming. Like I think the coolest part about this market is like my bag is trading perps, right? That's where I make, that's where I make the most of my money. But people will just be researching, studying in the trenches, and they will make like my entire quarter's worth of P&L in one trade, right? Just knowing where to be, I think is so much alpha. And I think it's funny because I don't know if you're like this, but I kind of came to crypto with, this vibe of, oh, Bitcoin's going to change the world, and then learning about Ethereum and then learning about alts. And then I went, wait, I just saw, because I saw, I think the altcoin season, April 2021. And I was like, wait, what the hell is going on in crypto? Like, what is actually going on here? Wait, I want to hit that 50X. I want to hit that 100X, right? And then we just got slapped with the bear market. And I kind of not remembering now, like, this is why I came into crypto. This is why I stuck around, is like for these 50 and 100 X's. And that's where it's at, man.
Yeah.
So whoever's paying attention to that is definitely going to outperform here or from here on out, I think, for like the rest of the cycle.
Yeah. And of course it's like you reap whatever you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? So like you're going to be a degenerate and go trade, $1 million market cap coin in Solana ecosystem. You should expect to get rugged more times than not. But the one time that you are right, you probably makes up for it, I would imagine. So when the environment in it as a whole is kind of more opportunistic than usual, it sets the stage for you to have a greater win rate, probabilistic, speaking, and then the reward stays the same. It's phenomenal kind of gains. So that's how I'm kind of viewing it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, like you mentioned Bitcoin. Do you think it even matters anymore? Like, does anyone even care about the ETF? Like, because that was the driver of price, right? That was the whole thing sparked down here when everyone realized, oh wait, we're under allocated to Bitcoin. We're under allocated to the upside of a potential like ETF approval. Like, to me, like the way that I saw this whole entire rally was kind of like right here, people were still on the fence. It wasn't until this candle where everyone just started mass deploying. Like this entire thing, and I have like polls on Twitter of like asking people how many stables they have and stuff. This to me was like the mass redeploying of stables. Like everyone was getting back into the market in one way or another. Maybe not Bitcoin, but like they're rebuying their alts. They're getting re-exposure to Solana. They're buying everything they can to get exposure that they didn't get, the entirety of this year. And it finally feels like up here, people just stop caring. They're like, whatever, we're this is a crypto bull market. This is the start of the actual bull market. This is not an echo bubble. The ETF doesn't matter. Approval, denial, sell the news, buy the news. Like no one cares anymore. Is that your kind of feed as well? Like, do you feel like people just stopped caring? And they like, do you believe this is the start of the bull market?
Well, do I believe this is the start of the bull market? Okay, so to me, the definition of a bull market is when you get to apply very simplistic kinds of strategies and just make a ridiculous amount of money. So if you're going to ask me, we are already in a bull market and we have already been in a bull market for quite some time now.
Yeah,
when you can trade trend lines and triangle patterns and then buy the breakout retest of a stupid little triangle pattern and then it goes up 50% higher in the next 48 hours, that's a bull market, right? I don't care if we're trading at all-time highs. I don't care if Justin Bieber is flexing his Bored Ape again. Like that's a bull market, so you got to make the most of that kind of environment. So I don't know if this, I don't know if that question is applicable. Do we enter a bull market from here? As far as I'm concerned, this is already a bull market and it has been. But
I guess a better question is, this is the start of the new, all-time high rally and everything like that. This is not quote unquote an echo bubble. This is not like the middle rally of further accumulation. This is the real deal. This is the cycle. This is what we're here for. We're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I have to imagine that it is because I think that, most people kind of understand the way that my brain works is like snowball to snowman. And if nobody understands what I'm saying, it's like, if you were going to create a snowman, you have to build a snowball first. So I just pertain that simple concept. It's a kiddish analogy, but I pertain that to markets, right? If you were going to go to new all-time highs and get, major euphoria and everything, 5Xs from here, then what do you have to do? Well, you have to be trading above, 200 weekly moving averages. Your weekly market structure has to be bullish. Your daily structure has to be bullish. You have to be above 200 daily moving averages. You have to break out of a 7-month-long range high at 31K, right? So it's like, we already did all that. So from here onwards, if we go to new all-time highs, don't tell me that you didn't see it coming. Like we already have the snowman, like it's already there,
Yeah.
So everything is already behind, we have the wind to our backs. We're moving forward. So anything that sets us back is just a setback until it isn't, until it becomes something greater. And we start developing that snowman in the inverse direction, right? We start losing, the local trend on BTC, which has been a 2-month-long uptrend, 60% uptrend per trail. We start losing that. Okay, that's a snowball of weakness. And then we, where does that go? Does that continue to compound? Do we then go on and, break back inside of the range from, at 38K? And then, right, what happens from there? Do we lose the 200 daily moving averages and fall back inside of the 7-month-long range at 31K? It's like, that would be, okay, well, no, we're probably not going to go into bull market anymore. Why? because in order to go back into a bull market, you would have to reclaim those 200 dailies. You'd then have to, right? And then you got to work your way up in the inverse direction. So as far as I'm concerned, we have the wind to our backs, and we absolutely could enter a bull market from here. Granted, I say that now, but I've also been saying this since we broke out of 31K. So it's the same kind of analysis. It's the same confidence in that in the market, because the trend is just simply trending. And I think we even discussed it, Doc. I think we did a video or a stream together, something together, right after BTC broke out of 31K. And we were like, oh yeah, I personally, I missed out on BTC. I didn't catch anything on BTC. I still have my ledger. So, thank God for that. But I was like, yeah, I'm in these altcoin plays, whatever. And I remember you specifically saying, yeah, now it's just a matter of, throw your hands up and just let the trend.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, that's been the philosophy the entire way through. And that's been the philosophy since 31K. And that's also been the philosophy for a large majority of the year heading into, June or whatever. So I'm just letting the trend play out. And, if it takes us to new all-time highs from here, don't tell me that you didn't see it coming, right? It's like, it's not possible. We had to do all these things first. We did. And ever since then, we're just continuing. We're just piggybacking off the same analysis that we've been making since 2 months ago. So, where's the shock factor there? It's like, well, there isn't any.
Yeah.
So
I guess my whole thing right now is going, the catalyst of this price action, does it matter? Does it not matter, right? That's the question on my mind every single day is, are we gearing up for a perfect kind of quote unquote echo bubble trap from a psychological perspective, where everyone kind of came into this market with the idea that, oh, we're underexposed to the ETF narrative. There's a Bitcoin-led rally, which it was, right? Bitcoin sucked the life out of alts multiple times during this rally. There's so many times we got corrections. And now that Bitcoin finally kind of put in this quote unquote kind of blow off top where it couldn't go higher, swept the high, broke down. Like, this is the first kind of breakdown candle, losing H4 trends. We still have the daily trend at our back. Like, I know like high time frame trends are all like beautiful, but locally speaking, this is kind of like our alt season, right? This is kind of like everything is going nuts. All the beta plays are taking over. The risk curve rotations are off the chain. NFTs are actually popping off. People are getting filthy rich. Like, to me, this is classic cycle top behavior. Now, I don't mean market cycle top. I just mean risk cycles, right? We have like different versions of risk cycles. This was a risk cycle. This was a risk cycle. This was a risk cycle. So I feel like even though this one is super extended, way more fruitful, it feels like this is the perfect time where you would expect a sort of 3-month top being put in or something like that. Not saying a market cycle top, not saying a 2024-25 top or anything like that. Whatever name you want to give it, this feels like it's gearing up for one of those. But I could also just be mid-curving it, right? The counterpoint to what I'm thinking is that this is just so and above and beyond irrational that we are actually in the Super Bowl, and this could just be, for lack of a better phrase, retarded for longer. Like, we could just maintain this for another 6 to 12 months. Why not, right? Because the stock market's hitting all-time highs. Like, everything looks beautiful. It's very hard to be bearish here, right, on anything. All the macro concerns that people were worried about are kind of slowly getting lifted. The Fed is starting to matter less and less. I'm even seeing, I don't even know if DB and Tree News posts the CPI anymore. I don't think they even tweet out CPI numbers. So we're so far removed from all these worries. Like, we got Binance out of the way, we got everything out of the way, and we kind of hyper ran the bear market too. When the bear market came, right, instead of this long drawn out blood bleed, we just got a bloodbath, right? We just got an absolute bloodbath. And FTX was just kind of the cherry on top. So from a bear market perspective, it's we got everything out of the way. Everything's done. There's green skies across the board. It's just what I'm expecting now is some kind of froth removal from the market at some point. That's just kind of where my brain is. I'm I can't get so over involved with what's ahead. I also have to, protect myself at this point and maybe lock in some of the gains across the board that I don't have 2025 conviction in, some bags that are up monumental, that I'm like, okay, maybe this is just flavor of the month. Maybe you should take profits there. So that's kind of like the mode that I'm in right now. But I do think, like you said, like the bonk is going to lead to the Solana eco on-chain summer, right? But that also occurred like after Bitcoin put in a top. So I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's where my brain's at.
Yeah, there's a lot that I want to kind of piggyback off of you there, but yeah, I agree with the, hey, you know, we're getting a little bit frothy. I saw a tweet that said, you know, it's a guy having 10 million in unrealized profit and loss on a meme coin and refusing to sell is the greatest top indicator I've ever seen this entire rally.
Yeah.
It's about as close as you can get, right? I mean, I remember a time where,
signals from your perspective?
what would you say?
Are we missing any top signals from your perspective? Is there anything that you're like
missing
waiting
any
for
top
to see?
signals? We need celebrities to start tweeting about crypto again.
Okay, all right,
Right.
fair
So
enough.
I mean, once we do that, you know, we need Soulja Boy to come in and try for the 18th time to, you know, make his own coin or something like that.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it is kind of true, you know. But again, trying to fade sentiment is probably the worst thing that you could ever possibly do in crypto, because again, what you just said, like kind of just removing the froth, and the market is frothy. I don't think anybody's doubting that, but the market's been frothy since 3 weeks ago, right? I mean, things have already been going rampant and crazy. Granted, ICP is up 100% in like the past 48 hours. So I don't know, maybe that is the true top signal, right? Maybe when ICP runs, I don't know. But here's the issue is like, from a probability standpoint, if you apply that general sentiment, 99 out of 100 times, you're right. 99 out of 100 times when the market feels frothy and everyone's, you know, oh my God, we're going so much higher. This is a super cycle, refusing to sell their 10 mil profit and loss on a meme coin. 99 out of 100 times, that actually is the top. The issue with that is the 1 out of the 100 times that it isn't the top is actually the bull market in the general sense of which everyone, you know, kind of thinks about when they think about a bull market. That is what eventually leads to, you know, Justin Bieber and Jimmy Fallon flexing their Bored Apes again. So that kind of environment stems from, right, the extreme just gets more extreme. And I always think about it inversely. I don't know how you would want to put it in that sense, but inversely, people always say it's always darkest before dawn, or whatever the saying goes. And I think it was Peter Lynch who said something along the lines like, no, it's always darkest before pitch black, right? It's always darkest right before it goes absolutely pitch black and you can't see anything anymore. So take that kind of, you know, saying and flip it on its head and think about, you know, upside. It's always frothy and extreme and crazy right before it gets even frothier and more extreme and even crazier, right? So it's like, how do you balance that? And
here's the follow-up question. Have you adjusted your trading style so far? Have you been like, well, instead of taking an invalidation or taking a stop loss here, it's just going to go up anyways? Because I've personally done that. I've done that so many times now where I'm just like, why am I taking this stop? It's literally just going to U-turn. And I just wait it out. And every single time, it's just like you turning to fresh eyes, which is a horrible habit. That's exactly what like blows up your account. That's exactly what you should not do. That's the most undisciplined thing, but it's being rewarded in this market, which I've never seen since I've traded crypto. Like I wasn't trading actively last bull market. I was a pleb passive Bitcoin and Ethereum spot only holder. Like that's what I was last bull market.
Yeah, you broke my heart when you just said that. Now, I do not change my system. I do not change the way that I go about things. Here's the thing. The reason that I don't have to do that is because I'm a trend trader. My entire system is curated in such a way so that if we go into a bull market, I'm automatically bullish on the way into that bull market. There's no way for me not to be, right? The whole snowball to snowman kind of way of thinking is literally curated in such a way, and trading 200 moving averages, it's all curated for when there's a bull market, I want to be exposed. When there's a bear market, I want to not be exposed. So, you know, anything that's in between that, hopefully I'm just making money on that trend in between. And granted, I've been, you know, blessed enough from this market to have done that. There's been several, you know, 20% rallies, 60% rallies for the past year or two. And now this one has just been the most fruitful of them all. Like the past 2 months have accounted for a majority of my profits from the entire year. And 2023, before the past 2 months, was my greatest trading year so far, which is so it's just crazy. It's crazy how fruitful this market can be. But no, you never let your discipline slip, man. That is the greatest way to live the life cycle of a turkey.
So so for me personally, like I hit all my goals for the quarter, the year, everything is accomplished, right? So what I've done is been like, I've been feeling this immense amount of like, everyone's getting so rich, I need to take more risk, right? And I can't fight that. That's just in my heart. So I've like, okay, what amount of money can I set aside where if I lose the entire account, it will not affect me at all. I won't lose any sleep. I won't even blink an eye. So I took that amount of money, like a degen port, and I put it in Bybit, and I made a new account, and I'm like, this is that account. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy the market. I'm gonna eat drawdown, and I'm just gonna go for it. And it's been fun. So it's like a whole different strategy, because I feel like the things that help us outperform in a bear market are not the same things that are going to help us outperform. And I'm putting emphasis on outperform in a bull market, right? We can perform very, very well based on our systems, but the things that are being rewarded in this bull market are the things that'll blow you up in a bear market. Do you get where I'm coming from there?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, there's people that are like, I'm going to take max risk. I'm going to go on chain. I'm going to buy this meme coin. I'm going to do whatever. So that's their form of increasing their risk tolerance, right? So for me as a guy that's like, I'm going to make my money trading on perps, I'm like, maybe this is the way to go. So I'm not advising anyone to do this. Anyone in chat, do not do what I'm saying. Like, this is a complete separate thing. Do not listen to any of the nonsense that I'm saying. I'm asking Mercury kind of like on a personal, if he's been enticed by that. And he's given me the fair answer that he's absolutely not enticed by that at all.
Yeah, I mean, so it's okay to dabble out and go further out onto the risk curve, when the market becomes just that much more opportunistic. But I would never let my discipline slip, right? Like what you said is I feel as though it's very fair. You're dedicating a specific amount of your portfolio that you can afford to lose, and you're going to, just try and run that up as much as you can because the environment has changed. I don't see that as degenerate. I see that as being able to adapt and just being fluid and acknowledging what kind of market environment that you're currently in. And that's kind of the key there. But the eventual thing that ends up happening is, markets are cyclical, right? So And when I say that, people think about bull market, bear market, but I need everybody to kind of think about that in a deeper sense. It's not just bull market, bear market. It's not just up and then down. It's also trend and then sideways. It's also low volatility, high volatility, right? It's also sideways and then trend. It's always cyclical every single time. But the only reason that me and you right now are not, browsing private island catalogs is because the market lulls you into one form of thinking and then does the opposite. And that is cyclical, right? So whatever that form of thinking is, if it's low volatility in a 2% range for 3 weeks straight, what comes after that? Volatility, right? The only variables there are time and percentage. So, BTC has done a 60% rally over the course of 2 months. Well, it's no different than any other rally in the past year or 2 years. It's no different. The only thing that has changed are the two variables, the time and the percentage. BTC had a, 80% rally or whatever the hell it did in the span of 2 months, starting in January. So it's the same thing every single time. Markets are cyclical. You just have to find a way to ride those waves. And that's why I curated my system.
Right. One thing I want to bring up now is like we're in that mode now where people are so I don't know what the right word is, just so risk on that they're gonna ape tweets, which during the last 2 years, I feel like you only ape Hasaka tweets. Like if you're gonna go down that path, like the only person that you could follow or copy trade successfully is Hasaka, right? And now I'm seeing like anyone that tweets a chart that just says this is gonna do whatever, I'll just for fun, I'll open that chart and I'll be like, did open interest spike? Did the price move? And I'm seeing that like all across the board. And one thing I want to say to anyone listening, if you're doing that, be prepared to take profits. Like if someone takes a Jito chart like this, which I saw Ansem just do, and he might be right because Ansem is just on fire, right? He took a chart like this and he's like, Jito's going to go to like $10. and you just put like a box like this, and he's like, this is the accumulation, and it's just going to run like that. And I saw Gito put in this candle, and I feel like people that like FOMO into that candle right there, like what's going to happen is you'll probably end up underwater at some point. You know, like a lot of like, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Pressure points get put into the chart when people just open positions like that. So just something to be aware of. Like if that's like your strategy at the moment is just aping into tweets, just be prepared to be underwater at some point, because I've seen that go crazy at the moment. Either like be underwater and just wait it out, hold spot, or maybe just take profits on those pumps. Those are my only suggestions. I've seen that a lot. I don't know about you. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I know that there's an entirely different world of crypto Twitter where everyone is very much like left curve degens, and they just follow like one person blindly. Like every time that person talks about any, ticker, they just buy and hold. So yeah, it's not really on my feed. I know that that's been a thing for Hisaka for a long time, but I don't see that as a viable strategy, to be honest.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and here's why I don't see that as a viable strategy, is because you can't dig into that person's brain. And also, I go into crypto Twitter with the idea of psyops. Like everything is psyops. Like this person talking about this coin, how do I know they're even actually trading it, right?
Right.
That's how I think about it. And I deem a lot of these people my friends. Like, okay, this person's talking about this. How do I know they didn't sell, preemptively, or at break even because it went sideways for 2 weeks or whatever the hell? I had people thank me. Actually, in the clinic, Doc, I had people thank me for shouting out SNX like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And my SNX tweet was, hey, we're breaking out of a year-long range. So I'm targeting a 60% move higher. That's my target. And that's the kind of move I'm going to look for. And this is why, and blah, blah, blah. And hey, we saw what Solana did. We saw what Link did. And then I kid you not, Doc, a couple hours later, SNX is up 5% from where I tweeted about it. And people are like, Mercury, thank you so much for this pump. I can't believe, I kid you not, I'm pretty notorious for being like a local, like top indicator. I really am, because I trade a different time frame than most people.
Yeah.
So when I'm, getting giga euphoric or whatever, because I'm already in a position, it tends to be, I go and tweet about, an update on that chart. And then people are like, oh, Mercury marked the local top again. He's a counter trade indicator because price is down -2%. And somebody came in and was like, oh, we're in a bull market now because Mercury tweeted about something and an hour later it's up 5%. Like this is all entirely different market. People are memeing me. But the reality is like, dude, my target is 60% higher.
Yeah.
And you're thanking me for coin being up 5% a couple hours later. And so
how are you
3 weeks later?
If you don't mind me asking, how are you trading these range breakouts? Are you playing them on spot, or are you still levering up on these?
Man, I should have been playing them on spot. I don't know why I'm not playing them on spot. But the range breakouts, I'm very technical about it. I wait for the technical breakout pullback retest on a visible time frame into confluence of moving averages and whatever. So if you go look at the SNX chart, it is exactly that. It is 2 hour 200 moving averages trend mixed with
Here, I'll let
high time frame range confluence.
I'll pull up your charts instead.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the exact trade that I'm in. I don't know if you guys can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah, this is the exact trade that I'm in. So I tweeted about it, and then it was this candlestick. This candle where I tweeted about it, and prices up like 5% or whatever, or no, somewhere over here, I don't know, and prices goes up 5%, and people are like, oh my god, Mercury, thank you so much. Well, I guarantee you the people thanking me for being alpha right here on this move did not hold it for this the entirety, because we're trading
Probably
different
not.
time frames. We have two different mindsets. We're thinking in different manners. You cannot possibly copy trade somebody and get away with it. I've watched too many people think that they could also do the same. It's not possible. You got to find your own way of thinking. You have to form a mindset. You have to have your own approach. You have to have your own, system. You're not going to get anywhere trying to copy trade or buy tickers of tweets or anything. it's just not going to work. Eventually, you're going to end up just like everybody else, and all those people get wrecked.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the trades that I've been taking over the past like 2 months are very high time frame focused as well. I'm just trading around them. Like I'll take the high time frame position, I'll take it on spot, and then I'll put one in. So one of the things I've been talking about this a lot. I don't know if this is alpha or what, but I think it'll help a lot of people of just taking the trade in a sub account. Like open a high time frame thesis trade so you're not getting chopped up on low time frames, and open it in a sub account, and then you don't have to look at it, and you won't get shaken out because it's that extra step of I have to go into the sub account to look at it and whatever. You're not seeing the numbers, you're not seeing anything, so you're not fiddling with the trade. And then what I'll do in the main account is I'll trade around it. So all of these, dips and spikes and valleys that you're seeing on the SNX chart right here, like if that's link or if that's render or if that's INJ, I'm trading those like day to day as well. So that's like a fun way that I found to trade these high time frame trends, is because I don't know about you, but I'm finding it very difficult to like kind of do nothing. Like that's the hardest part for me at the moment, is taking these trades and then just allowing them to play out and not tinkering with them. Because what the market's conditioned me to do over the past 2 years is expect trends to like fizzle out within a week, 2 weeks max. And we've had trends like INJ that's been a monster for 2 months, like relentlessly. And had I had that in my main account, at any point, I probably would have closed it. Like been like, oh, this pumped so much, let me take profits. Or this is pulling back. This is probably, broken a 1 hourly trend. Let me take profit. But because of that sub account, I've been able to like withstand all the volatility. So anyone that's having that problem, try that out. Probably help you out.
Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of psychology to like a lot of my friends echo the idea of, and I do too, take something on spot so that way you're not seeing the P&L. You don't see the green and the percentage and whatever. You're not so enticed to, market close and shoot yourself in the foot. I think it's the same idea. That is definitely something that I struggled with, especially in the beginning of my career. It's not so much something that I struggle with right now. I'm still long INJ from like $14 or something. It's currently like 32.
Insane,
so it's clearly, it's not something that I struggle with anymore. But granted, like, in hindsight, I should have been taking those trades on spot because it is easier to manage. Even though I'm not struggling so much with the psychology behind, seeing profit and then, my monkey brain wants to, force close it. I'm still not really able to manage the trade the same way as if I were taking it on spot. And something like INJ, I actually fumbled the bag pretty hard. I have a Pico bottom entry, but it's derivatives and I don't have any spot exposure. And now the new narrative is go stake your INJ on Kepler wallet and get these airdrops and like NFTs and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't have any spot INJ. so I kind of screwed myself there. Now, granted, I could short hedge it and then open up spot positions, whatever. But it's just more work, and I could have just saved myself a lot of headache if I were just taking that trade on spot. Now, here's the thing, though. I want to clarify this. Just because you're trading something on spot does not mean that you get to throw your risk management out of the window. It just means that you're managing the trade from a different perspective. So if you're going to take the trade on spot, and let's say you're staking that, and you still want to manage your risk, well, you have to have a way of being able to manage that risk. So whether that's hedging the coin on derivatives until that unlocks, and then you're delta neutral and you can get it to an exchange and sell it, or if that means keeping it on the exchange and having a hard stop loss, or if that means entering that spot position and then pulling it into a ledger and then just accounting for position size preemptively, so that, hey, if it goes down negative 20%, I'm still well within my risk management kind of, area. So people, I'm so hesitant to say certain things, live in front of people to the public, and then they take those words and totally misconstrue them and start, practicing bad habits. So
right. Just reading chat real quick. Sleeping. If you want to join the clinic, so I've mentioned this a few times. The clinic was like public and open for everyone for like the last, since it's been since inception. But I recently locked it up because I feel like whoever's been in there grinding all these years or all these months, is kind of being rewarded. And I just want to reward people that are hustling every day. So if you feel like you have something to provide and add value, of course, DM me and let me know what your niche in the market is, and I'll get you in there.
That's fair. Bear market warriors, we call them.
Yeah. Like I've developed such a bond with so many people that have just been grinding all bear market. Like they were with me for the Pico bottom and everything, right? We were trading scraps in like December of last year. Like what a difference a year makes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, all friends and family now. But yeah, if you have something to provide, DM me and let me know. I'll get you in there. What's exciting you right now, Mercury, as far as trades go? What do you look at? Are you looking at opening anything? Are you just riding your bags? Are you chilling?
I'm just riding my bags at the moment. My bags are pretty much in price discovery. I still have this SNX trade open. I've taken a little bit of profit off, but my bags are in price discovery. So I'm just letting them run their course. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and, not be able to think big enough for things like TIA or an INJ or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am looking to get RNDR is probably the position that I really, really want. Just because I think it has such great potential, but there's not a setup there on RNDR for me just yet. So actually, I think I have a setup already pre-drawn, but yeah, I do. This setup needs to come into fruition or something along these same lines in order for me to enter into RNDR. Yeah. And honestly, if this setup did come into fruition, I would have I would be able to assume price discovery from here. This is the last real resistance before I think price discovery for RNDR. So RNDR is really the only thing that's like I don't have exposure to. I want exposure to it, but I'm still respecting my system. I'm still probably the most disciplined trader in all of crypto Twitter. I'm not the greatest trader. I'm not even close to it, but I can outpatience anybody, and that's been my edge, and that continues to be my edge. So I know my place, and my place is not trading 5-minute charts on RNDR along 200 moving averages on the 5-minute. That's not where I thrive. So I need a setup like this. And then
question: if RNDR doesn't pull back to 390, are you looking for a flip of 520 and you'd kind of enter the same kind of position there?
That's exactly it. 100%. That is the beauty of my system, is that I can take this and extrapolate it to a smaller time frame. So I don't even know what the actual local trend is for RNDR. So let's figure that out. Okay, so it seems to be 30-minute, right? Just based off of previous tests, and the most recent one being the most important. 30-minute 200s seem like the thing to be watching for RNDR going forward. So I could delete this setup, and moving forward, I just apply the same concept: trade market structure, gray boxes, demand zone confluence. Like this is basically like this region gets kind of front ran a little bit. Local trends. So all three parts of my system, but just on a different time frame, and then work that way. So for something like Solana, a month ago, 2 months ago, when it was trading at $31, I did this exact thing along 30-minute 200s for Solana. And the reason that I was able to justify doing that is because I didn't have any core positions on anything else at that time. So I didn't have any exposure. I missed out on the Bitcoin rally. I've been making most of my money from Bitcoin for the past 2 years, or actually probably since history. Most of my wealth has come from swing trading Bitcoin. And here I am missing out on the Bitcoin rally. All I have is my ledger. I don't even count that. So I had to adapt to volatility, and I didn't really have a choice. I couldn't afford to wait for 4-hour 200 EMAs pullbacks on Solana. I had to adapt to that volatility. I had to go switch the time frame and go look for a better trend portrayal. And if we're just going to go look at Solana USD, 30-minute 200s, I mean, I started trading this trend somewhere back here at $31, and that trend continued for another 110% or so, like just crazy, right? So I traded this up into 45, and then I got long again somewhere around like 42, and then 42 into like average exit of like 62 or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Or like 58. I don't know. But I had to adapt to the volatility. I couldn't afford to, quote unquote, miss out. I needed to adjust, and I needed to adjust quicker. Whereas, currently I have all the patience in the world, and RNDR doesn't get to dictate when I play. I get to dictate when I play on RNDR.
I hope I hope it gives you that flush to 390. I'd rather you get that entry.
It's not looking like it, but but we'll see, man. I hope so too.
I'll here, let me flip to mine real quick. I have the weekly laid out like this. So if there are extreme leverage flushes in the market, I think you'll be able to get an entry right here. Like the mid to upper threes. Like I just wouldn't want to see render hanging out down here. So like this is my buy the dip zone as well. I know this isn't the full history chart, but Binance chart I think matters more than all the other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, this would be the region that I'd be looking to defend, and maybe if it just gets into like this weekly block, I would buy more render as well. So yeah, I'm hoping you get that entry versus it going to 5, flipping 5, and having the enter up there. But I know you get the same RR. But like if you're looking for spot bags or whatnot, that would be a comfier entry as far as like multiples go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin's asked, can you give advice on spot targets? Where to offload partial all of spot on alts in this trend? So I'll let Mercury answer in his own words, but what I would say for spot, you're buying spot with the idea to ride it through the bull market. If you're not like being an investor of that mindset and being able to hold through the volatility, and you're saying I'm buying spot for a narrative trade, then you're offloading it around the time of the fruition of like the catalyst. Like if your idea is I'm buying spot Bitcoin because the ETF is going to get approved, and then you bought it 25, 26, 30, and we're sitting here at 42, 44 with the ETF only like a month away, I would already start taking partials. If that's your thesis, that's just like an example. But if your idea is I'm buying spot for the next bull market, I wouldn't trade your spot, because 99% of the times you're just going to ruin your profitability trying to hedge and trade and min and max. That's what like perp trading's for. Like scratch the itch over there versus trying to trade around your spot, in my opinion. But Mercury, if you have your own opinions on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. First, I see John says, what are Merck's EMAs? The green is 200 MA, just simple moving average. Blue is 200 EMA, exponential. And that's all that I use. And I just switched timeframes. But yeah, as far as spot targets, like taking profit, I would just say, think directionally proportional. So what the hell does that mean? It just means if you're buying 200 daily moving averages and you're targeting, I mean, I would just imagine if you're buying spot, you're probably trading higher time frames. You're probably buying, like Doc said for RNDR, you're probably buying a retest of like a weekly demand zone. You're probably buying, 200 daily moving averages. You're probably buying a 4-hour 200 MA, retest, something along those lines. You're probably buying what's supposed to be a higher low in daily structure. So if that's the case, then just make sure that you're scaling your take profits directionally proportional to that idea. Right? We would never look at a breakout of, Link, let's say, an 18-month-long range, and then Link breaks out of that range, and we're like, oh, it's 15% higher at this, hourly resistance level. Yeah. Let's cut the trade. You would never do that. It doesn't make any sense to think that way. Exactly. It makes more sense to think, oh, here's SNX breaking out of a year-long range. I'm not just looking for a 5% move. I'm looking for a 60% move. And then if SNX only gives you a 5% move and then falls back inside of the range, it is what it is, right? But you're applying a winning kind of mindset. You do want to think in that kind of manner, because let's say it only has a 30% win rate. Even if it only has a 30% win rate, and every time you say, oh, that's a year-long range breakout, or that's a test of my 200 daily moving average, we might get, a much greater, higher high, 80% move higher from here. Even if it's only right 30% of the time, you're still making money. The times that it is right, you're massively outperforming and outweighing the times that it didn't work and you lost, a manageable risk amount. That's the idea, at least. But I would just say, make sure that you're scaling those take profits proportional to not just the time frame that you're trading, but also the significance of the levels themselves, right? We wouldn't take, I'm targeting a 60% move higher on SNX, but now that it tested this local range high, I'm going to cut my position in half. It doesn't make any sense to think that way. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I would also say, like, for a spot trade, if you're like fundamentally bullish on a coin, and you're buying, like, for example, since we're talking about render here, like if you're buying render with the idea that it's going to make new highs, right? In this bull market that, AI is carrying this coin, what's the phrase that we always use with render, decentralized compute, is that what it is? So whatever it is, right? Well, I'm not going to pretend and LARP that I know fundamentals, but if you think that narrative is going to carry harder this bull market than it did last bull market, then you're thinking that render goes into price discovery, right? So if you're thinking it goes into price discovery, why are you even taking profits on an all-time high break? Because I think some people would do that. They'd be like, oh, well, render is going here. This is my target. Let me take profits. And other people are saying, degenerates are coming in and going, oh, this is in price discovery. I want to see where this goes. We're just going to follow the trend and we're going to see how far this goes. So I feel like you're only doing yourself a disservice by, shortchanging yourself and thinking, too short term versus your long term targets, right? So stick with those, because I'll tell you myself, just from experience, I'm not saying I do this perfectly. I did the wrong thing with INJ. Where is INJ? I bought INJ down here at 7 because it was holding daily 100, daily 200s. I was like, this is the only coin in the market that has this structure. Like, out of all the coins, INJ looks like a monster. And I'm like, I'm not going to mess this one up. I'm buying spot. And then when it had this monster rally into this area, I was looking at it and I was going, because, for me, I'm being a trader first. I'm not thinking fundamentals. I'm not asking the question of what is driving INJ price action. I'm not asking any of these questions. I'm simply looking, chart good, number go up, me buy. Like, that's how I'm thinking, right? Which was actually like a detriment in this area, because I'm like, okay, well, let me start taking some profits. It's overheated. It probably needs a correction. I've accomplished 3x on spot. Let me take some profits in here, right? And then it's just another leg up. And then you look at the full price history, and then you ask yourself, well, what's driving INJ? Why is it so strong? Right? You start asking those questions, and you see, like, behind the curtains, oh, there's this vibrant ecosystem happening. There's people that are speculating on NFTs. They're talking about the transaction speed. So we're kind of in a more fundamentally driven market than we have been in the past. Like, bear market rallies have been so driven by just like price, and here's resistance, and take off at resistance and sell the macro lower high, like, price is trending like this, right? And sell the lower high, and we've formed an accumulation range, and make sure you're just selling range high every time. This is kind of like a different market. And it was a mistake that I made also on Solana that I've been talking about a lot recently, is like, I was looking at this like from a trade as well. And I was saying, well, naturally 44 is a good place for me to start taking profits. And the market did not care, right? The market didn't care, and it just blew right past that. So yeah, those are the things that I would say from like a spot perspective. Ask yourself why you bought it. Ask yourself what the thesis is. Ask yourself what the narrative driving price is. And try to form a thesis around that, instead of, this is a resistance level, let me take some profits.
Yeah, I would say everything is like a balancing act, right? You got to find the nice balance in between everything. You have to both, maybe it sounds cringy, oh, up or down, thanks genius, right? People love to say that. Well, your entire success as a trader relies on your ability to think in both directions, right? You have to be able to account for both the resistance and the trend at the same time. So do that, right? When we go into a daily supply zone, like $45 Solana, because it was a daily supply zone. In my eyes, I saw the same thing that you did. I closed my position from $31, right? Granted, it then consolidated for a week straight after pulling back, -10 or -15 or -20%. So then it gave another opportunity for me to go and trade it again on derivatives. Now, granted, I do want to give myself some benefit of the doubt and say, if I had a spot position on Solana, I would not have, fully closed it all the way out at $45. I would have just simply taken profit and then seen what happened, from there. But that's kind of the point, is like, acknowledge the resistance and do whatever action is necessary based on your system. But at the end of the day, whether you know it or not, we're all here to make money off of trends. Like you said it, Doc, you're here for 10x's, 20x's, 50x's, 100x's. That's why you're here. How do you get there without trading trends? You can't.
Yep.
It's not possible.
Yep.
So you have to respect the trend. You have to trade the trend, but resistance is still resistance, right? It's just that why is $45 resistance any different than $31, which is no different than $28, right? They're all the same resistance level. So what's the difference? Well, there isn't any. But, you still want to respect it as such. But just, it gets trumped by the trend is how we kind of think about it.
I got too caught up in the bear market rally mindset. Admittedly, like I was spot long Solana this whole year. Like I was buying all these FUD events. I was loading up. It was my second biggest bag outside of spot Bitcoin. And I was bullish on this. I wasn't buying ETH. I was looking at Sol ETH and everything like that. And I got caught up with I've done like a 4x or 5x or whatever, and I've compounded my position, and we're at 44, and this is, local resistance and whatever, and I should probably take my foot off the gas. I should probably realize these profits. And the market didn't care about that. And it just ripped right through, which is kind of the opposite of like the bear market, right? In a bear market, in a downtrend, you're thinking, hey, this is support and this should provide whatever. And maybe it provides a little bit of relief, and then it just will keep going because the trend is so strong to the downside. This was the exact opposite, right? It was like, this should be a resistance level. And yeah, it was for a few days, and the market didn't care because the trend was so strong. So just something to keep in mind. That's a lesson for me. Like I'm openly admitting that I messed this one up, taking profits on my spot Solana too early, thinking that I'm smarter than the market, or the market cares about my take profit regions,
Yeah, another pretty important concept, which I never really thought about until Loma discussed it a couple weeks ago, I think. But he got the idea across, at least this is what I took from it. He didn't add any context, but I think the idea was, he said resistance in a bear market versus resistance in a bull market. And then it was a picture of Mario standing on top of like those blocks. And the resistance in the bear market was just like one line of blocks, whereas the resistance in a bull market, it was like several lines of blocks. So I'm pretty sure that the idea that he was getting across was when you break out of that resistance, now suddenly it took little effort to break out of it because here's the trend just winning. But now that we're above it, it's going to be a pretty bulky support level now. Just because it's the same argument, but now the opposite way, and now we have the wind to our backs because we're respecting trends. So and that's kind of a testament to, don't be afraid to buy high and sell higher, right? There's no harm in that, as long as you're still managing your risk. You're not letting your confidence increase along with price action. Like you were a pansy and didn't want to buy Bitcoin at 37K, but now that it's 45K or whatever, now you're like, oh, we're going to new all-time highs, right? Yeah. Well, it's been the same argument. Me and you, Doc, we've been saying, oh, above 31K, so now we're just going to continue uptrending on high time frames. So, don't allow your confidence to increase parallel to trend. Yeah. That's a great way to live the life cycle of a turkey, but you have to get comfy, especially if you're going to trade bull markets. You have to get comfy buying high and selling higher. I was bull posting on Solana at $31. And at $31, Solana was up 50% in the past like 5 days. And here I am bull posting. Everyone's like, "Oh, top is in, boys. Time to, time to throw in the towel. It was a good run, Solana, right?" Like, and then it went up another 150% since then. So it's like you have to get. I know everybody, preaches, "Oh, buy low, sell high." Yeah, sure, that's cool and all, but in a bull market, you better get comfortable.
But sir, they don't buy low either.
Higher. What? What'd you say?
I said they don't buy low either.
I mean, who knows? To each their own, man. Yeah. Try not to compare myself to other people too much.
Yeah, and there's always an excuse to not buy something. There's always an excuse for everything. You can always rationalize something in some way to hurt yourself in this market. But
it's all cope. Like why didn't I buy why didn't I buy Pepe, or why didn't I buy Bonk? Well, I have my reasons, but whatever I'm going to tell you, it's cope. I can tell you that for sure. It's cope.
Since we're on the topic of trends and high time frame and everything, me personally, I'm not getting bearish on Bitcoin until we lose these. Like, I don't know when that is, but I'm in buy the dip macro mode no matter what, as long as like the daily 100, daily 200 are held on like a weekly basis.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's my line in the sand. So whatever pullback this becomes, I don't really care. I'm like price agnostic. Like if it pulls back at 30 or 28 or 35 or whatever, that's kind of my line in the sand. So that's where I'll be looking to like buy the dip with whatever capital I have at that moment.
Yeah. I do think 200 daily moving averages are going to play a big part in high time frame context. I don't know when they get tested. Currently, they're perfectly, like, beautifully aligned with 31K, which is that 7-month long range high or whatever. It's like a weekly demand zone.
SMA, EMA, right? SMA, EMA, boom.
But yeah, I don't know when they get tested, but I think that they're going to be key as far as like high time frame context goes.
Yeah, like this is beautiful, right? How are you, like, are we even, did the market allow us to get a perfect retest like this? Right? This is so clean.
Yeah. You would think not, but it happens more frequently than one would imagine.
I've noticed through experience that people will mark these regions and be like, this is so beautiful. And then when it comes, it only hits, like, everyone will front run, right? Because everyone's kind of stacking bids in that area. But they'll hit in these times of extreme FUD, like whatever that FUD may be. Maybe in this circumstance, it's the ETF got denied or delayed, or everyone thought it was going to be approved in January, or sell the news or something or another, right? Something happens, some event that really shakes people to their core. And then you get those targets that you want because everyone's kind of pulled their bids from up here. And then you'll find a reason not to buy this. That's just something that I've experienced numerous times. That goes back to this one right here with the USDC depegging, right? Everyone kind of had an SR or some kind of region to be like, I want to buy this, an EMA, an order block, a breaker. Like everyone had a level there. But when 1920, even like psychological number of 20K, right? Previous all-time highs. People had a region and they didn't buy that weekend because they're like, oh, USDC, oh, banks, oh, this, oh, that. So just a little bit of experience from prior times.
I remember that day, man. That was the greatest trade of all time for me. Was that buying the absolute Pico bottom on USDC depeg, and it wasn't even a trade. It was just I had no technical level. From my technical analysis perspective, when that had happened, I had already been bearish from like 22 or 23K because my system, flipped bearish, and it remains bearish, right? The trend continues trending to the downside, whether that's USDC depeg or not. I have to respect the trend, right? But things were so scary at that time that the best option available to me was buying Bitcoin and just eating any drawdown. We continue downtrending. Oh well. Banks were depegging, and I'm sorry, banks were depegging. Stablecoins were depegging, and banks were going insolvent at the time. So it's like,
it was
where
scary.
do I put my money, dude? It was so scary that I literally remember being like, I hate crypto. Well, why am I involved in this industry? I hate it here. Like, the world's going to shit. Like, for me, I was like, this is the breaker. This is the high before pre-FTX. And I want to see it defended. And I remember when we were pushing up on this candle, this was like in January. And I was like, whenever we test this from the top side, I'm buying. Like, that's my line in the sand. If we trade below here, we reset below here, I know it's over. This was just a stupid pump. We are going to retrace. We'll probably take out this yearly open. Like, that was my idea. And when it came, I remember I was actually playing video games that weekend. I was like on a bender with some friends playing video games. And I was starting to get these alerts, and I heard about USDC, and I was like, I didn't want to buy. I was kind of scared. I was like, I don't want to buy this. But then I was like, I got to nut up. This was the plan. This was what I set in motion. The alerts are going off. I'm ready for this. And I even had like a low time frame level marked. And I was like, oh, that low got swept too. That was the one that we wanted to. I think it was like 20.01 or something like that. And I was excited. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy, and I'm not going to look at charts. I'm not going to read anything. I'm off Discord. I'm off CT. I'm just going to go back to playing video games, and it'll work out. It'll work out. It'll work out. See, I wasn't buying because I was bullish. I was buying because there was nothing else for me to do. I didn't know where else to put all my money.
Yeah, I know people that had money in USDC, and they sold. They took like a 30% haircut on their net worth that weekend because they sold their USDC into Tether, like at the bottom. It was painful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Scary stuff, man. In a bear market. I mean, so here's the thing that I want to get across, right? Like, when the extreme does get more extreme, this entire market's going to go absolutely just ballistic. It's going to go. This is a taste of what this market has potential to be for an 18-month long, span of time, or something crazy to that kind of degree, right? Whatever that Y variable is, 8 months, 10 months, a year, whatever it is, right? This is what it has, that kind of potential. And it's the way that I think about it is like my bear market definition got redefined because of 2022, right? And I experienced all of 2018 bear market, but 2018 bear market was not, stable coins depegging and exchanges, going insolvent and like, hedge funds leaving the space. It wasn't that. It was that to some degree, but mostly it was just number go down. And that was it. And then, the things that tend to occur with number go down, people get liquidated and, hedge funds blow up. Sure, whatever. But the entire definition of a bear market got redefined in 2022. It's not just number go down anymore. Now it is, look at all this, these people blowing up, the stable coins depegging, your exchange is not exchange, right? Like that is the new definition of bear market to me.
Bro, it was
I think that the next cycle, whatever, right? Whether it be 4-year cycle, 10 years from now, I don't know. But whenever that is, I think that's going to redefine a bull market. I don't know how, because I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
But I feel as though some way, somehow, it's not just going to be crypto numbers go up. It's going to be something bigger than that. Like, and I don't have the ability to think bigger than that because I don't know what that could possibly mean. I would not have told you that FTX is going to go insolvent anytime in 2022, right? I couldn't have foreseen that. I wouldn't have foreseen stablecoins depegging. I would not have foreseen those things. But I would imagine that something inversely similar happens for a bull market. I just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, last cycle it was Kathy and Saylor and Elon, right? And Dogecoin and SNL and GameStop people coming over. Like it was a whole bunch of stuff last cycle.
Right.
And I'm sure like stuff like that will happen again. Like the ETF, no one saw that coming in March when that started, right? And that narrative's carried us all year. And I think we're gonna actually run on that. Like my thesis is like even if this approval is sell the news, what's going to happen next is we'll sell the news, we'll have some downtime, and then all it's going to be is like, oh well, when does it go live, right? And then we'll just rally into that, right? Because the narrative will then become, oh, we're getting these passive flows when it goes live, right? And we'll just have another rally, right? So I think like things look good, man. Things look good, and I think like we deserve this. Like surviving this bear market was not easy. Some people like look at this and they go, well, Bitcoin didn't even draw down like 80%. It only went down 75%. And I feel like that's the testament of like the asset just maturing and people actually believing in it and understanding like it doesn't matter what we go through as an industry. Like this thing is lindy as fuck. Like this is not going to, Bitcoin's not going to die. What pressure test has it not faced at this point, right? So
no,
that's just giving people
seriously.
more and more confidence in the industry and the ecosystem and everything.
Yeah, I said something similar where, Bitcoin has already kind of passed every major stress test that it's come across.
Yeah.
And I don't see how a spot ETF wouldn't be bullish in a longer term.
No,
I don't think that there's any way that you can spin around the greatest asset manager in the world starting to be a spearhead for Bitcoin and somehow that's bearish. I don't think that that's the case, right? Let me go tell Larry Fink. What?
It's insane that some people are trying to make that argument.
Yeah. Let me go tell Larry Fink that he's late to the game. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like
they're psyoping. Oh, this is egg liquidity.
Man.
They're gonna fork Bitcoin. They're gonna change this. They're gonna take over the supply. This is actually like there's numerous ways people are playing these mental gymnastics of how positive things are bad things because the bear market PTSD is just so bad.
Yeah. What really shocked me is Ryan, the flow horse. He put out a poll, and he said like, hey, in the next couple months or so, what are the chances that a spot ETF gets approved? And 50% of people said that there's a 50% chance or lesser of the actual ETF even getting approved.
Wow.
When you have professionals who they live and breathe this stuff, they have, right? This is their entire career. This is everything that they know is in this kind of field and what they do for a living, saying 90% confidence. 90% confidence. And here we are, 50% of crypto natives, right? Because it's Ryan's Cantor and Clark. He's asking his followers, his crypto following, what do you guys think the chances are of an ETF getting approved? And they're saying less than 50%. It's like, dude, the cope. I can feel the cope.
Yeah.
It's palpable. So I'm not arguing what happens after the spot ETF gets approved. But listen, when you hear hooves, you think horses, not zebras. Right? Yeah. Just think about that. When you're told, hey, this has 90% probability to occur, maybe don't lean into the 10% of, what is the off chance that it doesn't happen. You want to play into probabilities. Now, granted, yeah, of course, you want to have a backup plan. What if it does get denied? Well, we all know the answer to that. Number go down. Yeah. Number go down, get the hell out, like just sell everything, whatever. We're at least going to spike downwards. What happens after that? I don't know. Right. But like, that is the proper way to kind of think about it. And it's really unfathomable that people are so far in delusion that they still deem less than 50% chance of it even getting approved. I don't think the argument here is, does it get approved or not? I think the argument is, what happens after it gets approved? Do we spike upwards and continue rallying? Do we spike upwards and then retrace the rally? Those are really the only two options that I'm even considering. I don't even want to consider it. Like, who in their right mind thinks that, a spot ETF gets approved in the same minute candlestick we sell off 5%? Like, no, that's not going to happen. Come on.
Someone's going to clip that when it happens now, Mercury.
All right. Go ahead. And we said this. I said this when the fake news came out. Because when the fake news came out, everyone's like, oh, well, at least now we know what happens when the real spot ETF gets approved. I'm like, do we though? Did you guys not know that, when a tweet comes out that says, hey, Bitcoin spot ETF approved, that same 5-minute candlestick, whatever, it would be green? You didn't know that? You weren't aware that was happening? Maybe just quit trading. Like seriously? Like, how is that even a thought that's going across people's minds? And it's like, oh, but Mercury, if no one's thinking about that, then doesn't that mean that that's going to be the thing that catches everybody off guard? No, no one's probably thinking about it because, it's just probably not logical. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not probabilistic, right? I mean, I don't think crowds and herds get enough credit. More times than not, they're right. They're just, wrong on the kind of time frame outlook. And an example of that is like, my feed has been early to every single meme coin and every single, hottest, newest thing, rally, friend tech, whatever, right? My feed has always been early to all of that. The crowd has always been discussing all of that. And they were right every single time.
Speaking of friend tech, I had a tweet recently, but it like blows my mind every time that the bear market was so bad we started trading each other. And we started psyoping ourselves and convincing ourselves that this is so important. This is the future, because we really had no hope that the coins would go up anymore.
That was a banger tweet. Yeah, I never participated in friend tech, but somebody came into my free Discord and was like, I'm so glad we're in a bull market now and coins are going up, so we can stop pretending like friend tech was innovative technology.
Dude, that's what we do, right? When number go up, we just convince ourselves like, okay, we have a rationalization of why, right? Why is the TVL going up in friend tech? Oh, because this, that, and the other. Right. I remember the greatest lesson for me was last bull market, because I was more into equities last bull market than I was in crypto, and trading Tesla. And just every week there was a new cope of why it's going up, or what, I don't know if cope's the right word. There was a new rationalization of why it was going up. It's like, okay, now we're pricing in fully robotic automated taxis. Now we're pricing in SpaceX. Now we're pricing in this other Elon venture, right? Now we're pricing in the price of Bitcoin into Tesla. We put everything into the Tesla price because number went up.
Yeah.
Good times. But yeah, dude, we made it. Everyone in chat, pat yourself on the back. You made it through the bear market. You made it through the worst part. It should be just greener pastures ahead. Even if we do sell off 30% randomly one day, more than less, we made it through the bad parts. And it's fun to see Solana ripping in the face of FTX, the 1-year anniversary or whatnot. Seeing Solana come back from all that. and like lead the market. So many beautiful, like poetic.
The simulation, the simulation is very poetic.
Yeah, man. Any charts you guys want us to look at? Feel free to like drop them in chat. I always usually like end the stream with like 20 minutes of this. Looking at Beam, yeah, Tommy. I was itchy last night to kind of front run and buy this, but I was like, I'm gonna be patient and see what we do around the daily block. I think a lot of this wick gets filled. I think a lot of this weekly wick gets filled next week. Pretty easy for me to look for triggers in this area. Daily demand plus H4 100. This will be the area that I'll be looking for the bounce. I think we all look at the markets kind of the same way, right? They trend and then they range and then they trend, right? So if this is the first kind of range, you'd be looking at something like this to form on Beam, right? At least take out this high, get back inside. Maybe we'll expand later on. But yeah, great dip buying opportunity here on Beam for anyone that's not in. Look at the blessing that we've received, dude. Like the Beam just goes up only. Like every day it's like a 10% candle.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's just Merit Circle rebranded, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, I think I had a bag. I'm pretty sure I paper handed it for like a 1x or something.
I had Dentoshi on the channel one day, and she was talking to me about MC, why she's bullish on it, how they're changing the tokenomics, the chart, and everything like that. We were discussing it, and I was like, look, I'm not going to fade Dentoshi. I'm just going to buy a bag to hedge my own stupidity, and it ended up going up like 7x.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Are you watching IMX? This is one that I'm fading at the moment. I'm not trading. I don't have any perps, no spot, no nothing. I've never taken a trade on it, but it looks phenomenal.
I'm fading it in the sense that I don't have a position on it, but it just caught my attention. Honestly, I've been missing it, but it just caught my attention like last week or something.
Yeah. I was looking at it. I was looking at this. See, one thing that I'm facing, Mercury, because of all the not noise, but all the opportunity in crypto right now, is that I will forget. Like I won't leave a note. I'll forget to leave an alert, and I'll forget to come back to a coin. Like IMX for me, I was looking at this and I was like, okay, when it breaks out, I'll be in it. And it broke out and just completely forgot.
I did the same thing with Rose just recently. I had Rose on my watch list at the beginning of this month, and I was like, oh, this looks really good. It's breaking out of a year-long range. It's going to pull back into this high time frame trend. And I just forgot about it, and it did exactly that. And now it's up like 20 or 30% in like one day or something. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about this. No, but my issue with IMX is it looks great. I just don't know how I want to trade it. There's not really an amazing way for me to look at that chart and go and apply my system in the form that I'm comfortable with. So like 2-hour 200s are, I guess, a good portrayal because, you know, they acted as bottoms. These 2 times have a whopping sample size of 2. Yay. But then like, what else do I do? Like, I don't know how else to trade this. Hourly 200s, but okay, even if I would have been trading these, I get front ran here, probably. You know, just being honest, I most likely get front ran on that wick. So it's like, it doesn't even matter. I don't know how to trade this.
I've had to front run entries so much in the past 2 months. I don't know about you, but I would be sidelined perpetually if I wasn't front running my own entries on trades.
So yeah,
we're in this market now where people are so confident in support, right? So like, what does everyone do naturally? They just stack bids there, right? So like, people are like front running one another. It's kind of like a hype at a retail store. Like if everyone wants to buy the same thing, everyone's rushing to get it, right? Not everyone's gonna get the toy or TV or whatever that they want.
Yeah, I have a couple, you know, I always call them cool stories, things that, oh my god, I had an entry here, or oh, I got front ran here. Well, I have a couple cool stories about how I got front ran somewhere between like 0.1 and like 0.5% on trades that if they filled, they'd probably be up an additional like 20R or something at this point. But yeah, man, it sucks. And, you know, IMX is definitely a strong coin and I should be looking to trade it, but I just don't know how to trade it. And when that's the case, I just go trade something else. Like, I kid you not, my discipline and my patience really are my only edge.
As we're talking about Beam, it nukes right into that daily demand. one to watch if you guys want a beam. So let's alternate. I'll do the first one, you do the next one. So I'll do Kuji, you do Sui.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So let's pull up Kuji. Here's gonna be a funny one. I guarantee, like, someone asked me about Kuji probably on the last stream, and I probably gave them the entry and the target and the trigger, and I never took any of this. Look at this. This is so sad. Like,
Yeah.
literally gave someone the trade and didn't take the trade myself.
Story of my life.
Wow, man, this like literally played out perfectly. So yeah, Kuji. All right, so let's pull up the same trends real quick. Yep. Damn, dude, what a banger trade. Here, like, okay, so here's my deal with Kuji. When you have a markup, it's the first thing I said. Markup, range, another markup. Now, whether or not this is going to trend depends on localized trends. So we have to take a look at what trend was Kuji comfy with on the last rally, which looks like my 4-hour trend. You don't want to see this rolling over as it is in this region, because what that means to me is that this is gonna be a longer bracket before the next expansion, right? Here's your high. There's it reacting as resistance, trying to flip it as support, dropping back inside, kind of losing the 4-hour trend right now, looking very, very heavy. If it does, I would look at the next support region. This is the last region where Kuji held his support, right? Probably fills this gap. If not, fills it all the way to the H4 100, right? But more of a range bound moment here for Kuji after a really nice markup. This reminds me of the kind of the FET trade that I'm in, and I'll just reference this, right? So big range, blowout, lost the 1-hour trend. The 1-hour trend was the one that was carrying it for the kind of breakout, right? And now I'm looking for like retests or more bracketing, more ranging, sideways sweeps, reaccumulation before the next send, right? So that's kind of how I would play Kuji in this moment. But yeah, man, I wish I took that trade. I hope whoever asked me last stream or one of the last streams took this trade, because wow, didn't even leave an alert for myself.
What was your setup on FET? I'm just curious.
Okay, here. So I had 2 triggers. Where was it?
Because I sent out like a setup to buy the breakout retest of that range right there, and it did retest, but only for like 4 hours. And during those 4 hours, I was sleeping, so I missed the trade. So you're saying like, oh, you gave somebody else the trade and didn't take it yourself? Yeah, that was literally me on FET.
Where was my entry? It
But
was
I want to see what your setup looked like.
Yeah, it was 56 was my entry. Okay, so the way that I traded this was, this is how I mentally take like offense, defense pictures of like, this is a beautiful market structure trend, higher highs and higher lows, right? Where did this start to break down and bracket from a range or from a trending market to a ranging market? That's this area right here. This is what I call a POB, or a point of breakdown. I learned this from Abe Trade, talking about regions where the market breaks down and looking for those to be reclaimed, right? So I marked out this region and I said one of 2 things. Either I think FET was trading it right in here. I was like, either we break down and I get a bid lower, or I wait for it to reclaim the point of breakdown and I take an entry there. So what I got was 2 confluences. I got the point of breakdown, right, reclaim, and then I got the hourly trend tag. So that was my entry right at 56. I got filled on this wick right here, and then basically just rode it all the way up. I had a VWAP target at 75, and I took profits at 75. So
okay,
banger trade for myself.
That is a banger trade.
Yeah,
I just had a very simplistic buy the range high, breakout, retest, pullback, and then look for a continuation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed it.
This looks phenomenal. Let me just pull this up now since we're on the topic. Like, I can't unsee the high time frame picture on this one now. Like, looking at this, I'm just like, look, I want to keep buying the dip on FET for much, much higher prices, because it does fit into that AI basket. It is kind of, it's not quote unquote new and shiny, but it is in the AI basket, the outperformers, and breaking over such a significant level. Like, look at the resistance that this caused in Q1, right? Flipping that after a few weeks and breaking above it. Like, I want to continue playing trend continuation on FET here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the picture looks phenomenal. All right, let me switch to you. All right, Sui.
I never know how to say it, but Yeah, 4-hour 200s, 4-hour 200 moving averages are definitely the high time frame trend that I would be watching here. And that's really it, right? There's not really too much brain power that goes into this. We're at resistance. We're kind of pinching below this like daily supply zone. I would imagine when we break out of this region in a proper manner, we just go to whatever the next level is. So next level for me in terms of daily resistance would be 27% move. But there's probably some 4-hour resistance somewhere in here along those highs and lows. But yeah, so high time frame trend, 4-hour 200 moving averages, daily supply zone, and then I always mix in a local trend analysis as well to have a bit more actionable way of thinking about it. The issue with that is what was the low time frame trend portrayal, these hourly 200s are suddenly no longer being respected, right? And that's probably due to the fact that we're not trending anymore. So that's why I kind of just hide these, and we can have a more actionable way of portraying this supply zone and just say, you know what, that's probably a where's my parallel channel? Where did it go? Oh, right there. That's probably just like a low time frame range, and whatever happens from this low time frame range, we can scale those assumptions in either direction. So if we break out of the range, that means that our 4-hour 200 EMAs high time frame trend won yet again, and it's breaking us out of that daily supply zone. It means we get to target this next level. Or if we break down below the range, that means that we're losing the 4-hour 200s, and in which case we have not done that this entire rally. So that means we probably get to look for drastically lower, pullbacks. Something like that. But yeah, that's really it.
Nice. All right, let's flip back. Someone asked for Phil. Obviously, hindsight, this is like the most perfect entry that you can get after like weeks. This is a weekly chart here. After weeks of being rejected by high time frame EMAs, the 100, 200, you're finally flipping it for multiple weeks. So the market gave you about a month worth of like ideal high time frame entries. Since we're talking about it now, I'm assuming you're looking for an entry now. One thing in my system, whenever I look at really strong impulse candles that try to break away from consolidation, I do not want to see the entirety of this impulse candle retraced. So I'm always looking for something on low time frame to play into on this candle. And if you cannot, like if it doesn't give you a pullback, you're looking for this gray region to be flipped, which is that point of breakdown, right? The same concept from the last thing, right? Here's a weekly point of breakdown, flip it, that's a weekly breaker, right? So if basically in the next 48 hours, the weekly candle closes up here, I'm looking for entries in this gray box. That's basically it. What's next? Unfi? Oh no, not Unfi.
Yeah, I got screwed. I got screwed with the request here. It's all good though. Oh man. Yeah, a coin that looks like this.
What I do, Mercury, when they look
attention.
like shit, I just tell them like your coin looks like shit.
No, it does. It does look like shit. This is not something that would ever catch my attention. Anything that I can possibly tell you here is a forced analysis. I will tell you that 100%. I can give you an analysis on this, but it's never an analysis that I would actually go to look and execute off of. Right? It's literally, this is just a major range, and 200 daily moving averages are okay at portraying a very, 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 very high time frame trend. In the meantime, 4-hour 200s do a pretty good job of portraying a high time frame trend. Maybe you can find something that portrays it a little bit better, maybe something like 3-hour. I don't know. It's really up to you. I think regardless of what you go and look at, the price action still looks like this, right? It still looks like that. It still looks like this. It still looks like that. It doesn't matter. This is not a coin that I would ever look to really trade, in full honesty.
Boom, you heard it. All right, Neon.
It's so funny
again,
that you said that, because I was literally thinking, I was like, all right, what's next?
I saw it in the chat. Yeah, I was like, no, not in. All right, so another coin that someone probably requested on a prior stream, because I already have this marked up, but more or less it played out kind of how we talked about. I don't know when we requested this, but I think it looks like last week. We're talking about this area to be defended, this to be a bracket, right? Entries off of this level. You got that for pretty much the entire week. And now you're getting expansion. So once again, just look for the look for the trend that's been carrying it, right? 4-hour trend was really strong on this breakout. Like after the last time it spent a lot of time consolidating, 4-hour trend is carrying it. Once again, you're just looking for 4-hour trend to carry it once again. And my bread and butter, my favorite trade in the market, the one that makes me the most money, is anytime you get 4-hourly demand and 4-hourly trend. So you basically got that 4-hour trend, 4-hour demand. There's your pop. You're just looking for this same trend to continue.
The next request is ARB, but it's actually for you. It's from the homie.
Okay, yeah.
Capital.
Let's do it.
He trades the
All right,
same
so-
system as me, so he doesn't need my perspective. He already knows my perspective.
Here's ARB. So here's what I was looking at. I don't care about the daily. I don't care about anything. I'm just kind of focused on the ARB weekly, and I will let you know before anyone else that this is the most disappointing high time frame trade I've ever taken in my life. Nothing has disappointed me. Oh, I'm showing Mercury. Okay, so nothing has disappointed me more than ARB, right? I'm just basically looking at this as a high time frame weekly flip. I bought spot before this even flipped, and then I added to my spot down here, right? So I'm sitting at a comfy cost basis at support. Seemingly every single week, my cost basis gets tested. And then the line in the sand for me that I've talked about so many times is the listing VWAP, right? So from listing, right, we've been in bearish market structure the entire time. By the way, guys, I say the same thing every week. I know you're getting tired of hearing it, and now I'm getting tired of saying it too. Until and unless all of these three things are flipped, ARB's not going to do anything, right? You need to take back the point of breakdown. You need to take back the high volume node, and you need to claim the listing VWAP, right? So until and unless that happens, this is just going to be a mess and disappointing. Multiple times I've thought ARB is ready to do this, and it just disappoints me every time. So that's my take on ARB. Really. And it's not being helped by Solana outperforming Ethereum, and it's not being helped by Ethereum or ETH BTC, and it's not being helped by anything. So it is really just a dud, a laggard, and an underperformer. And every opportunity it's had to break out, it's failed. So for me, it's the same two factors. Above 116, 120, you'll finally get your move to all-time highs. Until then, it's just this.
Dude, your chat is hilarious. This guy said, nothing is disappointing you like ARB. Try being a chain link holder. I love it.
That is.
Man. I don't know why you guys are
fact,
sitting here trading Ponzi's on, digital Ponzi's. You should be comedians. Probably.
Dude, I almost got psyoped into being a Link Marine after the breakout. And it's just disappointed in that 14 range. Like everyone's having fun, and Link is the Squidward meme, looking out the window, watching SpongeBob and Patrick having fun.
It's incredible. I love it. The next one, TIA. New listing coins are always tough for me, but the nice thing about TIA is that it just decided to pick a trend and stick with it, and it's been respecting that trend ever since. So these are 30-minute 200 moving averages, nicely portraying the trend, and then all I have is just some pretty simplistic gray boxes as support and resistance to go along with that. So I would say TIA looks perfectly fine here. Still threatens price discovery just because the trend continues to trend for now. And in the meantime, I would just acknowledge the idea of a potential range forming here. So just these equal highs where it fails to actually continue trending, and it is coming back to kind of test the same local trend portrayal all over again. So now we have a range forming. So if we break out of the range, then trend continuation. If we break down below the range, that means we're also losing 30-minute 200s, and we can probably target whatever the next highest or high time frame like demand zone is. So maybe somewhere around $10.80-ish cents. And we go level to level from there towards the downside if that becomes the case.
Sick. Let's go back. So Jingo's in chat saying buy Arrow for the easiest 5x. Base chain is bald chain, right? So Jingo has been really good at calling out plays. So if anyone in chat's reading that, check that on your own time. He always brings me deck screener plays, and I tell him every week that I can't pull up deck screener on the stream. But yeah, I'll check that out after the stream.
What coin is he shelling?
Arrow, AERO, for the laziest 5x.
Oh, interesting.
So Ave is one that I'm in spot. And it's really simple, right? You have a super high time frame accumulation. You're breaking out of that. You're getting SR flips. You're flipping last year's VWAP, right? Oh wait, this is the wrong chart. We want the perp chart. Okay, excuse me. You're being rejected by last year's VWAP, right? Which is all this consolidation. But wait, no. Okay, we're gonna say this like 3 more times. I'm gonna keep messing this up. We have flipped this year's VWAP. We're getting rejected by last year's VWAP. This is a spot only trade for me because I cannot handle the whipsaw volatility in Aave. And I think the person in chat also said, who is it? I don't want to say person. Frat Life also said spot. So yeah, comfy in spot. It looks like a very nice high time frame reversal. It's that classic same play that we're talking about, like every single other coin, big accumulation, breaking out of accumulation. I think this is just gearing up to a big spike. It's kind of unfortunate these are getting slammed down for now, and it's probably has a lot to do with ETH weakness. But if we do get, my thesis has been that Q1 should be ETH season because historically speaking, Q1 is the best quarter for Ethereum. So if you do get ETH season, look for Aave to have big moves then. Am I behind on chat? No. Say Pith. Oh, Pith is going to be disappointing.
Yeah, it's tough for me because new listing coins are not my bread and butter. There's only so much I can really say, but very high time frame range. We've deviated out of it maybe once or twice, you could argue. 15-minute 200 moving averages are the best possible trend portrayal that you could find intra range. But of course, you should kind of expect them to get at least a little bit chopped up. And it seems to be like we've kind of formed a little mini range here between this like mid-range level and the range lows. So there's like a mini range in between the higher time frame range. And I mean, ranges are probably the most simplistic thing in trading, where, we break down, you assume breakdown, we break up, you assume break up. And in the meantime, you just assume that the range continues ranging. There's only so much I can really say. So yeah, I apologize if that analysis is pretty, lackluster, and but
I mean, that's all you can do, right? That's it, right? We both of us are more trend traders than we are range traders. I do trade a lot of price action sometimes when that's all that's on the table, but like Pith is not one that I would trade ever, unless like I was bullish on it fundamentally and I would just buy spot because it's sitting at a range low.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? I think we're caught up. Aerodrome is a fork of Velodrome for OP, but on base, usually a good bid. Leading Dex, yeah. Leading Dex thesis. I feel like it gets worse and worse every time we get a new chain. Like the Dex trade was like the 2021 trade. From what I've heard from a lot of people, is like, oh, you would just buy the leading Dex on the new coin. Like people rushed. My only experience with that was like people rushed to buy the Near Dexes and launch pads and stuff like that because Near had nothing going for it when it launched. So everyone was just rushing into those. But I don't know if those plays work out anymore. Like was Aerodrome a good trade for OP? If it was, then yeah, Velodrome or whatever. Was Velodrome a good trade for OP? Because if it was, then yeah, maybe Aerodrome does really well for base as well. From a probability and statistical standpoint, Bonk is done, and maybe one more push up. Yeah, Bonk. I showed this earlier, like at the top of the stream. Maybe I still have it pulled up. Don't. But yeah, comparing Bonk to Pepe from April, structurally, in my opinion, it's the same thing. Like it looks the exact same to me. And I traded this like. I missed Bonk completely top to bottom, but I didn't miss Pepe. And I remember how this top felt. And I remember because I was up so much, not wanting to sell. I remember
Doc, sorry, I want to cut you off. I think you're still on my screen.
Yeah, I am. Thank you. I remember not wanting to sell the Pepe spike up here and kept thinking, oh, maybe there's one more push up. Oh, maybe this. Oh, maybe that, despite already being up 20x. And I didn't sell the Pico. I didn't sell in the 40s. I closed out all of it like in the 30s and high 20s. And I think, like, structurally speaking, Bonk looks the exact same. And I was trying to, at the top of the stream, trying to pin that guy's tweet because it literally was at the all-time high. He literally tweeted it like within hours of this candle. And you're going to be able to pin it on a chart. And in my opinion, Bonk is going to do this, the same thing as Pepe, for the next 6 months. Despite how bullish you are on it, and we'll have our meme wars and be like, is Pepe this? Can we sustain 4 dog coins in the top 100? Can we have a Sheeb and a Floki and a Bonk and everything? Or can we just go to Pep? Like, these are going to be the meme wars. But more than likely, like, what I've seen is the market doesn't care. It's just going to find a new one. Like, Pepe, in my expectations, underperformed this risk on period. I thought it would do more. I thought it would at least get to these range highs by now. And the mind share and market share just went to Bonk. So who's to say that when the next time comes around, like, none of these end up Lindy and none of them end up flipping Shib, and the one that flips Shib probably isn't even out yet. It's just waiting for the conditions to do so. These could all just be warm-up trades, you know?
It's definitely an intriguing thought.
Yeah. I mean, they all look the same, right? Like, I was saying the same thing that bonkers are saying right now. My strongest thesis was that Pepe's the new meme coin and it's going to be the one that flips Shib. And I still believe that. Because I believe that, like, Pepe is such an easy meme to hang on. Like, the gaming culture, Twitch culture, like a bunch of online culture has Pepe at the roots of the memes, not only CT. Like, it predates CT by a lot. So I think Pepe is like an easy one to latch onto versus the 5th generation of dog memes in crypto. But maybe I'm mid-curving it. I don't know. Well, like, time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that if you posted that Pepe fractal on Twitter, it's probably a lot of free engagement.
I did.
Okay.
I did before it topped. I did when it was on this rally, and I think people didn't want to hear it. So it didn't do that well. And I even showed, you want to see something funny, Mercury? This one's gonna be funny as well. Oh, I even have it marked in here. How funny is that? One second. Poor navigation skills at this moment. So this right here, this is where Pepe hit all-time highs. That was the top of the fractal. This is what Bitcoin looks like today.
Oh yeah. It's pretty, I mean, it is uncanny.
So that was what I pointed out. I showed the Pepe fractal, and then underneath it in the second tweet, I showed this and been like, look, literally we were putting in our lower high complacency shoulder. We ran everything out. Everyone thought Bitcoin was topped in this region. We put in another high. We distributed. We put in a lower high. It was over. I sold everything and I was out. And this is where I got the Pepe, the lucky Pepe, like 20x. I got the 20x from here to here. And this was kind of the same deal. I remember when we were grinding against 37 and we got the big washout, sentiment right here was it's over, it's over, it's over. And then once again, we got that pop, distributed, and we're kind of like breaking down, putting in a lower high. So, and we're frothy, and we talked about all that stuff at the top of the stream. So it's just funny how, like, we're getting all these parallels.
Yeah. And crypto tends to be that way.
Yeah. The trite saying, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
Jito, we haven't done Jito, but I mean, we talked about this at the top of the stream of, like, don't ape into tweets. And I saw Ansem, who is crushing it, tweet out Jito to 10 with like a box up here, comparing it to Tia. And I was watching Flow, and literally everyone just opened massive amounts of longs. Funding went crazy. These are the 3 candles after the Ansem tweets, and it's fully round trip. So anyone who aped the Ansem tweet is probably underwater. We literally talked about this at the top of the stream. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jito's gonna do what people want it to do. Just because it's like the 3rd or 4th one of the airdrop coins. So like Tia came out and Tia did what Tia did. And then Pith came out, and everyone thought Pith was going to give them the kind of same returns, and it disappointed. And then Jito came out, and then we did the same thing with Jito, and yeah, so it may. I'm not going to say that it won't, but for now, it's just going sideways. That's all the analysis we're going to go.
Just name 3 airdrops that I missed out on.
Yeah, the Jito one hurt me a lot, Mercury, because like I said, I've been spot long Sol. It was my biggest bag. I don't know why I wasn't just staking it. Like, why was I just holding it in the ledger?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, man, but there's nowhere else but crypto where you can be upset about missing out on like free 20 grand. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even 20. I think my airdrop would have been like 50.
Yeah. But bare minimum 20, which is crazy, man. It's crazy. All you had to do is stake $100, and here's a free 5.5 grand, and just hold it for 2 days, and it'll be worth 20 grand. Like,
yeah, that's
dude, come on.
There's
nowhere else but crypto.
I was putting into perspective. That was 2x my starting capital. So I was like, damn, that's insane.
Yeah, man.
How much relative money that actually is.
I have friends who, live in third world countries, and their entire portfolio is 3 to maybe 4 digits at best. And it's like, well, this is the best place to be if that's the case.
Yeah. Shout out Ritesh, because Ritesh posted in Q1, he's like, if you have 3 to 4 figures, the only thing you should be doing in crypto is airdrop farming. Don't do anything else. Yeah. And he literally was so adamant. He's like, there's a free 6 figures to be made if you're just airdrop farming. And I have a friend in the clinic, shout out Lohit, who is grinding right now with the airdrop farming. And I think he's going to actually like outperform me like this quarter just because of that.
Yeah, I need to get on that, man. I've been notorious for dropping the ball on airdrops, especially. Yeah. All of the bull market of 2020 and 2021, there were several airdrops. I think the actual biggest one was a 6-figure airdrop. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure either it was airdropped at 6 figures or within like recent days, kind of like similar to Jito, it became worth 6 figures. I want to say it was like Ribbon Finance or something. I don't know, but the logo is red. Dude, crazy. Just like unbelievable kinds of gains that can be made just from farming these little protocols. Absolutely. And yeah, I was just too lazy. In the last bull market, I was just too lazy. This time around, I'm just, I'm coping because I didn't do my research. I didn't do my due diligence. I'm not, doing all the nitty gritty to learn about this stuff. But in the previous bull market, it was, everyone's talking about it. I knew about it. I just didn't decide, I'm too good for the 5 to 30 minutes of work to put in to farm that airdrop.
Exactly.
So yeah, and then miss out on a free 5 to 6 figures. And it's like, dude, don't be lazy.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watching this right now, you're allowed to miss out on something because, whatever reason, but you're not allowed to miss out on something because of your own laziness.
Yeah, I actually have a list now that I'm curating because that's what my focus is going to be on. I did a lot in terms of trading, perps, everything that I could imagine. Like, I've had a lot of fun this quarter. And I'm like, the thing that I faded, the biggest lesson that I got was I'm not doing enough on chain. I'm not doing enough in terms of farming and airdrops and stuff like that. So that's going to be a focus for me in the weeks ahead, like to close out this year. Yeah,
it's definitely big focus, I think, probably for everybody. I think Jito really put it into everybody's brains that they need to be farming these airdrops moving forward.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, no different for me either.
I think 99% of people in crypto probably got outperformed by a Jito airdrop.
Man, probably always the case in markets. But
oh, look at this candle! Holy shit!
This is Curve. Somebody's talking about Curve as the next Ave or Ave or whatever. It looks pretty good. Curve looks good along 4-hour 200s. This looks similar to Sui. I don't know, or Sui. I don't know, however you say it. Same kind of gist there. If it breaks out of this resistance, then probably good to go to the next resistance. And maybe just locally a little bit of chop.
Let's see if Mercury, you want to hear another top signal?
What's that?
I only get asked about CRV at market tops.
Yeah.
I only get asked about CRV and what's the other one? There's like a brother protocol with like the same ticker almost. I only get asked about those when Bitcoin's at 28K or 30K or whatever.
You know what my ultimate top signal is? I have a friend who bag holds like a portion of the supply of Theta. So every time Theta starts to run, I'm like, all right, we're done. It's GG's. He made me a promise that if Theta hits $30, he'll send me 10 grand for free. So I'm just waiting on that to happen. And, you know, of course, it just so happens to be every time Theta gets a green candle, whole market's like, yeah, never mind then.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a signal that we've run out of things to put money into.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about ICP today, man. Man, I remember everybody asking me about ICP during the bear market as it was going down negative 99%, and then it goes down another negative 99%. And every time I'm, you know, doing anything, people are like, "Oh, please take a look at ICP. What are your thoughts on ICP?" I'm like, dude, stop asking me about ICP. It looks terrible. It's new all-time lows after new all-time lows after new all-time lows. What do you want exactly? It went from like, I want to say it went from like $1,000 at one point, or maybe like 400. I don't know.
Yeah, 400 or 500 is what I remember.
Yeah, to like $3 or something. It's just like, stop trading those kinds of coins. They don't warrant your attention.
Imagine if that was your strategy, just to short ICP pumps for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020.
Yeah. It takes guts, man.
Yeah. I need 0 today. That's layer 0, right? So I think that's going to be another big airdrop, right, Jingo? I think 0 fits more in like the TIA category of it'll probably pump after airdrop, because I think a lot of people will probably want exposure to that one. Q1, Q2 gonna be airdrop season. Yeah, trading on Thunder Terminal or Hyperliquid. I haven't heard of Hyperliquid, but I think Glass told me about Thunder Terminal. I haven't done any on-chain trading, so that's why I'm not trading on Thunder Terminal. But I should probably do that. I think that's another one, Mercury. Like if you do any on-chain trading, use one of these terminals, because I think they have airdrops coming up too.
Oh really? I just signed up to Hyperliquid like last week or something.
Okay, sick.
A buddy of mine shilled it to
You
me.
probably know more than me then.
No, I don't. I know absolutely nothing. I took one trade on it. It was just like a wash trade, but it was, yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends that are doing that right now. Instead of like trading Solana or whatever on Bybit or whatever exchange of their choice, they're actually trading everything like on chain right now, so they can farm all these airdrops.
Huh? Maybe I need to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's size dependent, right? Maybe just take it alongside your normal trades. I don't think they have the liquidity for large size trades, but yeah.
What I can say, Jingo, is the 1 or 2 trades that I placed on Hyperliquid, it seemed pretty nice. I was honestly pretty surprised by how liquid it seemed, and how nice the UI is. Just everything that you can really want in a trade or in an exchange. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
So maybe I'll take a second look at it.
All right, Mercury, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, man, that's fine.
We're 2 hours in.
Oh man, it flies by. I didn't even realize.
Time does fly. Super fun. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll see you on CT. Have a good one. Good luck. Have fun. Hopefully you guys got something out of the stream. If you do, leave a like. I never ever ask, but leave a like. Thanks, Mercury. Thanks for hanging out.
Of course, man. Much love. Yep. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah. See you guys.